Welcome back to the Smugglers Den. This is episode 49, and as always, I'd like to thank swdestiny.com for hosting the Smugglers Den. Thanks, Rebel Spy. You're the best. And thank you to everyone on patreon.com who continues to support me over there. Anything you are willing to donate is so generous. I've been putting failed decks up there. There's going to be a deck that goes up today. Palpatine Battle of Wills. I had high hopes. Didn't work out. And from that laugh, you should be able to tell that this week we are joined by none other than the Rebel Spy, Mike. What's up, Mike? How's it going?
What's up? I'm awesome. How are you doing?
You're awesome? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. I thought I was awesome, but you're awesome. Okay.
I mean, other than Los Angeles being on fire.
Yes. So there's a serious downside of that, right? Los Angeles is on fire, in flames. That's awful. Okay, so let me preface that. But I didn't have to go to school today. So that's awful, but
it's like our version of a snow day, I guess?
Exactly, it is. It's like there's too much ash in the air to go to school. Snow day! But it does feel bad when you think, like a snow day at least, no one usually is injured, right? It's just like, there's a lot of snow. Don't drive crazily. But when everything is on fire, you're like, I feel bad. Like a snow day always felt awesome. Today felt weird and bad that I'm off because people are suffering greatly.
That's fair.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the downer of the show. And that's going to wrap up the Smugglers Den. Also, I just want to put out here, I'm going to try my best, I'll say that, to grab everyone who's been a co-host in the past for episode 50 of the Smugglers Den for a quick little, what's up, how you doing segment of episode 50 of the Smugglers Den.
That's hilarious.
But there's been a heck of a lot of co-hosts, Mike. So
there have been.
The show's going to be like 7 hours long and just, hey, what's up for 7 hours. So you may want to skip number 50. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you don't like, hey, what's up, it might not be for you. But on the plus side, it should be cool to catch up with a lot of people who've dropped the game, see where they're at now, why did they leave the game, what do they think of the new changes that have come in, and, kind of get some talking with them.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
Let's get on to business. Let's start with this. You play anything interesting this week? Play any tournaments? Play any decks? I see you stiffed Bruin on Monday. Thanks for that.
Yeah, sorry. Work. But I haven't been playing anything super interesting, but I've been continuing to help D-House and the guys from Double Blanks test for the regionals this weekend. So I've just been playing boring meta decks for the most part.
Real quick, are they playing in the same regional? Please tell me yes.
All three of them are playing in the same one.
That's awesome. You're the worst ever. You're like, yeah, sure, D-House. I'll help you test for regionals. Hey, guys. You'll never guess what D-House is playing. That's awesome.
I'm like the hub, and all their deck lists are going through me, and then I'm secretly telling every other one about what everybody's playing. So
how much do you charge for this service to play them off one another? It must be lucrative.
I don't like to discuss money.
Okay, that's fair. They just deposit blank checks in a mailbox, and you just write the amount. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the checks are very blank, as in no money exchanged.
They're double blank.
Yeah.
Oh, look what we did there. Wow, that's amazing.
That was fantastic.
So what decks have you been playing then? Or give me one deck you've been playing quite a bit of.
I've been bouncing around between all the, sort of decks that we expect to see. So like R2P2, Qui-Gon Kanan, 5-Dice Villain, Kylo Grievous or Kylo Vader. I played Kylo FN a couple times, but the other ones have been playing more. So that's pretty much it.
So you've been playing the meta decks. Actually, probably people couldn't hear that. So you've been playing the meta decks. That's cool. Anyone that you're feeling like that's the meta deck? That's the one you got to run with right now.
I like Qui-Gon Kanan the best. I think that it's the strongest, and I think that even against Kylo, it's really strong. But I'm almost ready to eat my hat about R2P2.
Yeah, we had a whole episode where we just dogged the deck.
Yeah, and then I went through regionals.
Yeah, I was about to eat my hat too. I played like 3 games with it, and I was like, dang, I was wrong. This deck is
Hmm.
bonkers. And then I played 2 more games, and I was like, yeah, this is everything I said that was a problem. Like, word
Yeah.
for word, everything I said has happened the last 2 games in a row, which makes me come back to what I originally said. It just feels inconsistent to me. It feels like you put an Ancient Lightsaber on Rey. Awesome. You roll out Rey. It's the +3 and the 2. They remove the 2. You re-roll Rey. It's nothing. You roll out Poe. You get a 1. Boom. Okay, cool. I did a damage.
Hmm.
That just
Yeah,
happens to me all the time. I don't get it.
I think that's fair. I think it's like I haven't decided yet whether it's actually good or whether it's just a good like anti-meta deck because it's sort of like Qui-Gon Kanan in a way, but it's better against the Kylo decks.
That's
And
what I was
then
wondering. Does it just prey on those Kylo decks that miss over and over and then pull their hair out?
yeah, I think that that's part of it. And the other thing is like it being that each character has 11 health. For some reason, 11 health just feels like a lot more than 10 health.
It's funny, isn't it? You're like,
It's
"Woo,
super weird.
11, that's unkillable.
Yeah, like if your opponent god rolls with like Sabine Ezra, they have to god roll on every single die instead of like, 4 out of 5 or whatever. So I don't know. That might make some kind of a difference. The fact that they're both, kind of beefy.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it a little easier to get caution off, right? Because you're like, that one more health, that one more moment to maybe get it off. Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out myself. I think it must be great, and I must just be wrong. And I have people message me, people I respect greatly in this game almost daily, say, Tiny, how come you're so stupid on this R2P2 thing? Seriously, what's wrong with you? And then we have the exact same discussion I just had with you, and they'll be like, no, that's not true. I'm like, okay. I mean, you can sit next to me if you want while we play, and you can see it be true. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm not sure.
What I did this week is I decided to play what I'm calling Bling Phasma. And what I mean by that is it starts with I got my medal finally, and now I have 2 medals. So
Whoa.
what I did was I went to the shop knowing there weren't going to be a lot of people there. This wasn't me being a jerk. This was me trying to rile up Bruno. I wore into the shop my 2 medals with my Perky Nerd Store Champ shirt on and threw down my, Phasma promo, my new Stormtrooper promo, and played Bling Phasma and pretended it was 2016.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? Phasma's just as good as I thought she was going to be. She
Right.
was a wrecking ball.
So one of the medals was from Gen Con. What was the other medal from?
Gen Con.
Whoa, you got 2 medals from Gen Con?
Yeah, they just sent me an Imperial Assault one for fun. So now I'm top 16
Sure.
in Imperial Assault also.
Why not?
I really want to go to an event wearing it and be like, what? You guys didn't know I was one of the best players in the world? How do you play this again? Like, I kind of know how to play.
Yeah, that's great. You can bring your Destiny dice along with the characters that you play in Imperial Assault.
Yeah, I just roll them on the side.
Yeah.
But the Phasma deck worked really well because if you think about the meta and what it looks like, here's the decks it really excelled against. A lot of this was against Bruno before the tournament. He trotted out a Palpatine deck. I ate all his Palpatine dice.
Oh, yeah.
He got barely any bonus damage, and when he did, he didn't get the regular damage, so it was fine. Then he trotted out R2P2, and that exact scenario I proposed, I ate any die that was a base side, and it would just be like, I'll re-roll. I hit a base side, I'll eat it. I'll re-roll again. Hit a base side, eat it. Re-roll again, I'll flank that one. And you're like, what is happening? Give me my dice, please. Let's see. I also beat a Kylo, the new Kylo, I guess what would it be? New Kylo, Old Vader? Yeah, new Kylo, Old Vader. That worked out really well because it's the same problem, right? Of like, it's 3 colors, well, 2 colors, but a bunch of neutrals. And so the person only hit 1 time. They actually guessed gray and were right and hit a hold on.
What?
Because they had played
great.
that card that lets you look in the hand first. And so I had 2 grays, 2 reds, and a yellow. And they're like, gray, why not?
Wow.
So that was humorous. Never had anyone guess gray and be right with that. Beat that deck. Beat R2P2 twice. Beat a couple other. I beat a. Someone took our advice, I think, and played Ray Kanan, and that was pretty solid. But it struggled with the same thing. The one deck that beat me was an emo kids deck. That was
Like
kind of
old
frustrating.
emo kids?
Yeah, emo kids beat me. He got it was my battlefield, so he put 2 shields on Anakin right away, and so I was like, geez, 13. That's a lot. This deck only has 1 on the hunt to chew through shields. Then he went like 4 strike and a Shoto on Kylo, and I was like, well, I mean, like, what am I gonna do? I think I have to kill Kylo at this point. That may have been a mistake, I don't know, but there were a couple moments where it was like I had him really low and I re-rolled and I couldn't finish him off, and that happened like 2 different times, and that really was the difference in the game. But other than that one game, the deck went 6-1 on the night and felt really good. Oh, I beat a 5
That's
dice
awesome.
villain also. Same thing. They roll
Yeah.
out some dice, boom, start plucking them off, and they're just like, oh, okay. What am I supposed to do? Oh, and then
Yeah.
then I nuked down Bala. Okay, he's dead. Now what? and Bruno was rolling like 9 dice on turn 2 or something absurd, and I still won. I was like, I don't even
Oh
know
my
how
God.
to win this one. Hunker down, man. Hunker down's a good card against the range deck.
Hunker Down is a great card.
Bottom line though, Phasma 2016 Phasma still really, really good. I guess it's not. That's kind of a lie, right? It has a Guavian in it, so.
Yeah, but it's it's close to the same deck.
It's old school. Let's say that. It's old
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
So that was fun. Really enjoyed playing it. I only intended to play the one game just to annoy Bruno. Like, that was the whole point. It was just he and I. Walked in with my medals, threw down my deck, and then crushed him. And was like, let's do that again. And then just proceeded to win every game other than the one. And it was like, okay, cool.
Can't really, yeah, you can't argue with that. That's pretty awesome.
I don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
But Mike, I came up with a great idea, and to be honest, this was inspired by Bruno like a month ago. He was just, maybe it wasn't a month, maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I don't know. He was looking through the card pool, and he's like, Battle of Wills is amazing, and I think we should be playing it. And I was like, okay, that sounds crazy, but okay.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I had the day off today, and I was like, I'm going to break Battle of Wills today. And I struggled with figuring out who to put it with. I think Elite Dooku might be the answer because he's only 15. So it's not like a huge loss when things go wrong. It lets you force people to activate guys that maybe they don't want to. But I ended up playing it in Palpatine with the theory that his dice are so awesome, he will usually win. But if he loses, you're just dead.
You're so screwed.
So it was like this total high roll deck. And I had in it Abandon All Hope as well, and Battle of Wills like try to control all their dice. And I load up, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fun stuff. The dude loads Cad Bane, who's like the absolute counter to Battle of the Wills. And in the first game, I'm like, screw it. I'm doing it anyway. Lost.
Oh, no.
Valve's dice were gone. Then I asked him, hey, can you load up a Qui-Gon or just some meta deck, right? Because Cad's not the meta.
Yeah.
So he loads up Qui-Gon Kanan. I Battle of Wills. I only get 3. He rolls out Kanan, gets 3 also. All of our dice go away. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Battle of Wills, not a card. It's just
okay. In that case, do they all go away or do none of them go away? Is it remove all that are the lowest?
All that are the lowest.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if it was the reverse, that a tie meant none went away, I think it would be a good card.
Oh my gosh.
But the fact that even a tie you get wrecked, I don't
yeah, that's a little iffy.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a moment where it'll be really good. Like some cruddy the guy that I really think it might be good with is TIE Fighter Pilot.
Oh yeah, because he's got the the 3, the 2, and the 1 or whatever.
The problem is he's not elite, so you'd have
right.
to do it with the card that makes him elite and training. And I just think that's too much to try to sink into him. But I think there'll be some guy eventually that has like big dice that are not as impactful. Like a 10 cost elite guy with some twos, but with two for a resource, and in like shields or something that were like, oh, that's not that great. And then that guy would be really good with Battle of Wills. But I just feel like right now, unfortunately, Battle of Wills is not a thing. Makes me so sad, Mike. I was super excited to try it.
It's a really cool card, but the times when you lose, like, that feels so bad when the reason your character does get removed was because of the card that you played.
Yeah, and especially when it's like Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
You lost Palpatine dice.
You just time walk yourself.
So stupid.
So
it was
bad.
a fun experiment, though. Like, I've actually been having a bunch of fun trying things, and that was one of them. I'm gonna put that on the Patreon page. I'm not gonna put it up on YouTube because I try to only put real content on there. And had that deck been real and I lost, that would be totally fine. But Battle of Wills just is... it's more of a fun, like, watch Tiny get totally wrecked by his own card game.
All right, well, I'm excited to watch that video.
Yeah, it looks like someone in chat has said Mace, and I agree. I was looking at Mace as well. Another one is the Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor has really good dice, except he has that dang special.
He's got 2 blanks. Yep. Yeah, see, he's got 2 zeros.
Yeah, exactly. Mace is a good choice. Also, the reason why I went villain was because I was planning to do stuff like Seventh Sister or maybe even FN, stuff like that, to be able to have a good partner with whatever I chose. I didn't want it to be this problem until I just went the whole other way and went.
And then you went with Palpatine.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna be bad, but I was like, screw it, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
It was really bad. It was really bad. Any other decks you've been having fun with?
Not really. Not this week anyway. I've been talking to some people about like Old Vader Seventh Sister, but I haven't played it a ton more than I did last week. I played maybe like 2 or 3 additional games with it. I did try a version with Holocron since we talked about it last week.
Yeah,
and it was pretty good. You definitely have an easier time affording Rise Again. I'm not totally sure which one's better. They're both like very different decks, so I'll have to play with each of them more to see which one's better. But I do think that the deck is like fairly solid. I think it's at least tier 2.
Yeah, I agree with that. It definitely seems like a tier 2 deck. It seems like with how open the meta is, like every deck in the game practically is tier 2. You're like,
that's fair.
I took the 2 worst cards in the game. You're like, it's probably tier 2.
Which is like
another
the
deck
best.
This week that I was super excited about. An Emo Kids direct damage deck. And what I did is I put in Crossguard Lightsaber, Hate, Lightsaber Throw, No Mercy, Force Strike, Clash. Basically, all of these different cards that could give me direct damage. I even had a Price of Failure in there for when one of them gets low and I can just kill them and roll out the other guy. Because that, that's like an extra hate moment. It didn't go that great.
No?
No. The problem is that deck is already pretty resource intensive. And so I decided, like, I'm going to put Ancient Lightsaber in for the direct damage. Sorry, not Ancient Lightsaber. I meant Crossguard. But if I'm going to put Crossguard in, then I might as well have the Shoto Ancient Lightsaber package, which means we can't run Holocron. And I think that was a mistake. Like, I don't think you can have everything.
Did you have it binds all things?
I did not have binds all things. It's only my plan was to only play one lightsaber pretty much, and then overwrite it.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
And then if it gets to be late game, I could have 2.
Right.
So, but I think the way I would rework the deck is just to take all the lightsabers out and put in holocrons and just
yeah.
Just
if you're paying 1 for like Clash, Lightsaber Throw, Force Strike, Hate, like if you're paying 1 for all those things, I guess you don't really have the money to be dropping 2 cost weapons every single turn.
Yeah, I think I can show the deck actually. I want to see what happens. Is it going to be a disaster? Probably. I just didn't show it. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. We're trying to do this on the fly. It's a little harder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the deck. I the problem, like I
I
said, I think it was too resource intensive to try to do everything.
Yeah, I think that's right. I've actually played against a similar deck. Jay from Double Blanks like put it together, and he like just wanted to try it out against some of the meta stuff. And it's just all the direct damage stuff. And it's new Kylo and then one die Anakin. So I don't know if that's the same as yours. I think maybe, but
Mine was old. It was
old
elite,
Kylo.
elite Kylo.
Okay, got it. And yeah, it I think it ran into the same kind of problems with money, especially because Vader doesn't make any. So
I'm wondering if the way to run this is to go 2 dice new Vader, 1 die. Is new Kylo 14-17 or 13-17?
yeah, he's 14-17.
Okay, that's the whole problem. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Because
Otherwise, he'd go
really
two
good.
Vader, one Kylo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna probably shelve this deck. But if I tried it again, I would definitely go the Holocron route. The problem is like Force Strike. Force Strike is either a 1 for a 2, which is the same thing as Lightsaber Throw. That's not that bad. But once they kill Vader, Force Strike is like 1 for a 1 or 2 for a 2, and that's kind of rough.
Yeah, it feels bad. Well, so lightsaber strike at least, right? Is that what? No, lightsaber throw at least leaves the die on the field for you to be able
True.
to use. So it's almost like it's 2 for 1. I mean, I don't know. If you can't get the 2 another way, then force strike is the same. But yeah,
Yeah. I think the deck just either it needs a lot more money to be able to do it all, or I think it's just not quite there. It just needs some more pieces. Probably needs to be out of another package, like you were saying, doing it out of Kylo Vader, new Kylo, old Vader is more direct damage because you get the 2 every time if you're not me. I have a feeling if I played new Kylo against Qui-Gon Kanan,
you'd hit all
sound the
grays.
alarms and stuff. So, I just feel like that's what would happen, and it'd be like, oh, you're kidding me. How did this possibly happen?
So tilting. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's my wrap up for the week. I don't have anything profound to say about the meta. I think the regionals are just kind of confirming what we knew to be good decks. We did see was it new Kylo FN do really well? Was that the deck we saw do well?
I really only looked at the winners of that of this past weekend. I didn't really pay too much attention to the top 8s, although I should have.
The 2 Poe-Ray decks.
I thought it was 3, but I could be wrong.
Oh, it was a 3. Interesting. Who won the 8-person Alaska regional again?
Oh, right.
Or are we not counting that one?
that was new Kylo, Bazine, Royal Guard. So maybe it's
new meta.
Maybe it's good.
I'm looking at it, and this person beat Mace Trooper, Emperor, Sabine Ezra, R2-P2. So, like, that's some real decks.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Wait. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it looks like that they were 2-2 going into the cut, and then they won in the.
Wait, they were 2-2 going into the cut in a 4-round.
I think so.
I'm not gonna say anything because people get mad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Wait, what do you? I'm actually really curious now because they're playing a card called Voices Cry Out, and I have no idea what it does.
Voices. Yeah, it says reroll all dice showing a value of 2 or higher.
Huh.
So, it's 0.
Like, yeah.
That's kind
so
of
it's like Sound the Alarm, but it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
It all of the damage sides.
But this is kind of interesting. This is in place of Sound the Alarm. So, what would you play? Sound the Alarm or Voices Cry Out?
I think I'd play Sound the Alarm.
Yeah, I think I would too because this hits your own. So that's weird. Like I kind of think Voices Cry Out is an interesting card to have. Like, in addition to Sound the Alarm, like if you can't afford stuff, maybe this is a card that we should be looking at and know what it does at least. Like I had the
Yeah,
same reaction.
exactly.
I don't know this card.
To not get wrecked by it.
But I would definitely play Sound the Alarm over it. But it would be kind of cool, like to see some new deck that's like all zeros and it's 2 Sound the Alarms, 2 Voices Cry Out, spends all its money on Sabers. That's doable.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, certainly an interesting deck. You don't see a lot of 3 dice deck win major tournaments anymore. But Huzzah! Oh, I guess no, even Sabine Ezra's 4.
The Kylo decks are 3 most of the time,
yeah,
but
right. You're right.
But Kylo kind of has 3 dice.
Yeah.
So
Kylo's pretty good. I actually kind of like this idea. I really do want to find a 1-die Kylo deck. I think his ability is what makes him bonkers. If we could find a way to combo that, that could be the way to go. I just can't imagine Bazine is the answer.
Yeah, I think the problem is that like 3 more points for another one of his dice is not very much. Like it's a 1, 2 plus 2. So it's like he still has a good die. It's worth 3 points in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like if you could fit in a really like kind of over the curve 16 cost, then maybe it works. Because then you're kind of doing 5 dice if you count Kylo's ability as a die.
I'm thinking more like I like the idea of having 3 characters. Yeah, I really like Royal Guard to protect Kylo so that he gets to keep doing that ability longer. But Bazine as with it, but there's not a lot of choices, right? If you're gonna have a Royal Guard,
you either have Bazine or Trooper.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably take the Trooper
bad,
to
though,
be honest.
Because then you get like the best defense or can't fodder, that kind of stuff to help keep Kylo alive even longer.
Yeah, but you also lose. He doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on. Interesting. I'm not gonna say anything slanderous about somebody who went 2-2 in the Swiss and won a tournament. I'll say this: good job. That's impressive. You don't see that very often.
Congrats. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on from that. And Mike, I think you might have noticed there were some spoilers that came out, so we're gonna take a look at some of them. I'm going to go through every one. I'd really like to hear, start with, like, what is your favorite or most interesting, or however you want to say it, spoiler that you saw out of this?
I think I have to find whichever card is the most boring and pick that one, right? Because that's what I've always done in the past.
Oh, man.
Joking aside, I kind of like No Good to Me Dead.
Okay.
Healing 2 damage from an opponent's character to gain 2 resources. Like you're sort of giving up 2 damage to gain 2 resources, but that 2 resources can be a lot more than 2 damage in the long run. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. The other one that I really like.
Wait, I don't get a turn?
Well, that was like sort of
okay.
That was like a half answer.
All right. Let's talk about this though real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. This is a really weird card. Like it can be so hard to get damage in this game, but resources are worth so much in this game. I think I'm torn on whether this is just awesome or madness.
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know. Like getting a redeploy weapon, and all you have to do is have your opponent give up 2 damage, and it looks like you get to choose the character. That's even more power. Like, especially with indirect stuff, they're like, I'll indirect it to this guy that doesn't matter. You're like, fine, you have agreed he doesn't matter. Boom, let's heal him. And they're like, oh no, I healed Bazine. So,
totally. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like two resources is an entire turn.
Yeah. Like, imagine turn one.
You're. Oh yeah.
Turn one, you get 4, and you put down something giant. That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right, I'm coming around on it more and more. The more we talk, the more I'm going to be like, this is a 10 of in every deck.
Just like Datapad.
Yeah. Remember when Datapad was good?
I do.
I feel bad for that one. All right.
Yeah.
What else you got for us then?
Since my like
to go again.
My actual cool, interesting card that I think is really sweet is the Pirate Speeder tank, which was sort of 80% spoiled. because it's only in like the hero image on the page and not
Yeah.
actually spoiled on the page.
I
But
didn't even catch it in my my review because I just clicked the button and then went through all the
yeah, and then
cards
like
real quick.
next.
Yep. I looked stupid,
Yeah,
Mike. All right, why do you like the speeder tank so much? By the way, it costs
I
5 in case you can't see that because it's cut off
it
on our image here.
yeah it costs 5. It has a special. Special says deal 2 damage to a character, give a character 2 shields, and take an additional action. It's a lot of stuff. And
It's a
then
lot
it
of
also
stuff.
has a 3 ranged, a 4 indirect, a 5 indirect for a resource, and then 2 shields. So pretty much every single side on that die is good.
But you did see it cost
And
5, right? Like you saw that part?
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, hair is a card, and theoretically, if Hondo is a neutral card, this
Mm.
could be a neutral card.
Okay.
So
All right.
if it's true that it's neutral and you can cheat it out with Hera, I think it's really strong.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah, cheating this out with Hera would be crazy strong, actually.
'Cause I like except the blank, obviously. Every single side of this die does something cool.
You know what else like
And
this
like,
is Old Poe.
oh yeah, Gold
Five?
Pill loves this.
Fiver?
You
Woo.
can go like Poe Ezra and just like do crazy things. Like 5 indirect is a lot of damage.
Yeah. For sure. Let's see. What is my favorite card? Do I have a favorite card? Let's talk about Saw. I think Saw is really interesting.
Hmm.
So he basically has 3 damage sides for a 12-16 with 11 health. That's really strong. The question is they're all indirect. One is 2, one is 3. He has a resource, which is awesome. And his special says discard a random card from a player's hand, then deal indirect damage to an opponent equal to its cost. If you do this randomly from your opponent, I feel like that's not going to be all that useful. But you could do it to yourself, right? You could build like this crazy deck with him where you're like, I'm building a regular deck, Mike, but it has a couple 5 cost things in there with the intention of discarding the rest of my hand and then going boom 5,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
yeah, it is. The 1 in 6 like makes it a bit harder to build around. Like the fact that the special is a 1 in 6.
Datapad, have you heard of it?
What? Sorry.
Datapad, Yoda, have you heard of these guys?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's true. Actually, Yoda
Yeah.
might not be a terrible idea.
Elite Yoda, Elite Saw Gerrera. Wait, how much
Boom.
is Hera again? She's
Hera
8
is
or 9?
912. 912.
912. Okay. So it'll be
Yeah.
really hard to get. I was thinking like single die Saw, single die Hera is 21, so we're 1 short on being able to get Yoda in there also, because that would have been
Yeah.
sick. That would have been pretty good.
Sadness. You could get like Maz in here somehow and go like 2 dice
Ooh.
Maz, 1 dice Saw, 1 dice something.
Yeah. You could go 1 dice Maz, 1 dice Hera, 1 dice Saw. I'm not super excited about that.
Yeah.
But how about just
It's
Elite
possible.
Hera, Elite Saw?
That might not be horrible. Because
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like it hurts that both of their specials are 1 in 6s, but
Yeah.
if you get any of them off, then it's pretty sweet.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but he's interesting,
Yeah.
right? Like it
I mean-
feels like you could just build a regular damage deck with a couple 5 cost things in there that you are purposely just using for him.
Yeah, and if you use it to discard a card from your opponent's hand, it's not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
Like it obviously sucks if it's a 0 cost card, but you just treat it like a discard side with an upside.
Yeah.
And it's like not terrible for a 12-16 character. I think this is the first 12-16 that we have that has a 2 and a 3 then the 3 doesn't cost money.
Yeah.
Or even has a 2 and a 3 at all. I don't know if there's any other 16-point characters that have a 3 side.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that. The problem is,
It is indirect.
and we don't know yet, right? Like, indirect works with Palpatine because it's so much damage. Indirect
Yeah.
works with Planetary Uprising because it's so much damage on top of other damage. I don't know about this. Can you run a whole deck that's just indirect damage? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's actually interestingly similar to Boba. Like same point cost, same health. Boba's got 3 damage sides, all at least a 2. If you count a special as a 2 or more, which in most cases it will be.
Yeah.
So I think if you think Boba is good, Saw is probably pretty good too.
Okay, I think that's fair. What's another card you're really interested in?
Um, all right, so I'm gonna. Well, okay, I was gonna be a troll and say Jar Jar, which I
Let's
am
talk
like
about
sort
Jar
of.
Jar real quick.
Yeah, I'm like sort of
Because
interested.
I don't even know what is going on here. Like, this
It
card is so weird. Um, so what it says, the most important thing is his text. Like, his
yeah.
dice are irrelevant. But it says any player may take an action to force you to activate this character. So at any point, anyone gets to take an action to make you activate it, which is interesting. But after
hmm
you activate this character, reroll all dice showing a symbol not showing on his character dice. And so what's important about that is there is no damage on here other than indirect. So if your opponent rolls a character with damage and hits any damage sides, you get to immediately roll Jar Jar and make them re-roll them. So the way I think of it is, if your opponent goes first, they have to, as their first action, make you roll Jar Jar or like pass, and it's just like this weird thing that happens, and I don't know what to make of it. Bring
Okay,
some knowledge to us, Mike. How is this gonna work?
I I kind of think he's good in a weird way. Like,
Okay.
if that's the case, and if it forces your opponent to roll your Jar Jar as their first action, then it means that you're going first, basically, and
Yeah.
they're giving you a free action on top of that. So I don't think an opponent's like ever going to want to do that. Um,
I think they're gonna have to
like,
though, right?
I mean, I guess they might have to. It could. I mean, on the other hand, like if they waited out long enough, like okay, let's say that they don't roll in Jar Jar.
Mm,
Do you then immediately roll in Jar Jar? I don't think you do. Like
right. Exactly.
unless
Then
yeah,
you're
and
like,
then
okay,
like
I have to
you roll your
pass or
character.
hunker down. I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
This leads to this
right.
bizarro game of like, hey, I'm not rolling Jar Jar. I'm not rolling Jar Jar. Let's just sit here and look at each other.
Like everybody's gonna pass until there's like 10 resources on the board. But I don't know. It's such a hard card to evaluate without actually playing it. That I really don't even know. He's super cheap, 7/9 for 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 7 health, and his die is like decent utility.
Yeah,
Um,
it's okay.
for that point cost, I mean, like I don't know what more you want for 2 dice at 9 points.
Yeah,
Um,
some damage would be
I
nice.
don't
But
I don't
sure.
know. Well, yeah, he's got one indirect.
I guess
Don't
that's true.
don't forget the one indirect.
Sure, sure. One indirect.
uh,
Here, go ahead, take a damage of one to whoever you want. Oh, went on that shield. Cool.
uh, yeah. Okay. So we got Elite Saw, Jar Jar something. No, that's 25 points.
We're getting close though. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people have pointed out you can make a 6-die deck now with Jar Jar, but
Yeah,
then
that's
you have
bad.
Jar Jar in that deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with you that I feel like he's either going to be awesome or I don't know what's going to happen. My guess is he will be very good in an archetype.
Yeah.
I just don't know
I
what that is
think
yet.
that if the theme of Jar Jar is that he's supposed to annoy your opponent, I think that he does that effectively.
Yeah, and the cool thing is he also annoys you. Like,
He
he's
does.
just annoying. It shouldn't be clumsy outcast. It should be like annoying Gungan.
An annoying Sith Lord.
I'm pretty sure that theory is wrong, Mike, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong today. I don't know for sure. He does do a pretty awesome Sith jump.
He does so.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on from him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Greedo. Because Greedo, I think, is one of the more interesting cards that's kind of important. I'm trying to stall here while I find him. Okay, I got him. So why don't you tell us about Greedo?
I'm trying to solve as
Okay.
I find it too.
I
So,
got him here then. So
yeah, go for
the
it.
key to Greedo is he is a 7/11 with 3 damage sides and a sick text that says, before this character is defeated, roll any number of his character dice into your pool, then resolve any number of his character dice in the order of your choice. And I gotta say, you can tell that's a Lucas design, right? That's like 100% theme. Lucas was so amazing at that. You will be missed, Lucas. And so this basically means, like, if it's Greedo one-on-one versus someone else, and they kill Greedo, they better do it with like at least 3 health, hopefully 4, or they will lose before they win,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is kind of insane.
It's really interesting. Do you ever play him with one die?
I don't know. Like he's to me, he's a little worse than a stormtrooper at just 1 die because the stormtrooper has the
Hmm.
resource side, but Greedo comes with he doesn't like you. So
Right.
I don't know. Like yellow villain events are so strong that some decks might just be like, cool, a 7 cost dude that isn't Bazine, sign me
Hmm.
up.
Yeah, if the choices like to include yellow in your deck are Greedo or Basine, I think most of the time you pick Greedo.
Yeah,
So yeah, maybe in certain cases you do play him with just one die.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, you can obviously do really fun stuff if you play him with 2 because you can go like Greedo, Balatique, and then like Guavian or something like that, and just do all the crazy yellow stuff. Or you
yeah.
can go like some Guardian character or even like a TIE pilot. I don't know.
Do they? So here's the question: if you play Greedo, let's say you play Greedo at 11, and you
Hmm.
play, I don't know, we're gonna throw out something dumb like Inquisitor at 19. Um,
Uh-huh.
do you have to kill Greedo first?
I don't I don't think so.
But
I I'm not
then you get
sure.
into an endgame scenario where you may have
Where
zero way
you
to
may
win.
just yeah, huh.
So that's where I would be kind of tempted to run Greedo if I'm running him alongside a really expensive, awesome character that I know they want to kill first. And this might be temptation to be like, sure, you sure? Are you sure you want to kill that guy first? Because Greedo's just
Hmm.
going to
Hmm.
kill you. I don't
That's
know.
possible. I mean, he
That's
he does have 50% damage sides.
yeah.
He
I
can
mean,
hit
like,
4 damage,
what are
but
the
you only
odds you
have like
roll 3 with him? Is it like
a
40%?
it feels lower than that to me,
Yeah,
but
it does. Maybe. Oh yeah, you're right. Because it's a 1 in 3 plus a 1/2. So I don't know. Maybe 33% somewhere in there. That's a
yeah.
pretty decent odd in
That's not
3. Like you often win with a dude with 3 health left, right? Like that's kind of how
hmm
it works.
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
I mean, I can see this like creating some really insane like tournament outcomes, which
Yes.
is really exciting. Like this is a character that can create some like really exciting plays, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. Especially if we ever get some sort of card that enhances the actual base dice, like some sort of upgrade
Hmm.
that's like these die like it's a 3 or 2 cost upgrade that says maybe a 3 cost. I don't know how much it would have to be. All of the sides are 1 more than they currently are.
Yeah,
Like
like
it would
if
just
there was
be
an upgrade.
insane.
Oh, absolutely. Like if there's an upgrade that was just like gave you Aura Sing's ability or something, like
Oh yeah, yeah, right, right. That's
that would be real
that's what I'm
good.
looking for. Yeah. So I don't know. I look at him and he intrigues me. Like you said, at
Hmm.
7, he's worse than a stormtrooper, I think. But boy, at 11, 2 dice. But if you think about it, at 11, that's like a 7th sister. That's also 2 dice and kind of better.
Right. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
it's two dice and 3 extra health.
Yeah, 7 health is low. So he's
Yeah.
cool. I want to talk
Hmm.
about him because he's cool, and I don't quite know what to make of him yet. And he's exciting though. What do you got
Yeah.
next?
I'm really like I'm surprised that he's the legendary of the yellow villain characters.
He does not seem like a legendary. I gotta say, most people are gonna be super pissed when they open Greedo. He's gonna be like
uh,
$4. Don't worry, he will be easy to get. Just don't be the one who opens them.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so another character that I think is really cool is Hondo.
Okay.
Um, Besides just thinking that he's an awesome character in Clone Wars and Rebels, the fact that he's a neutral character is really sweet, very thematic. Um, I think that he's like kind of almost insane with New Poe,
Hmm.
because it like you basically start the game with a pose blaster. Uh,
Yeah.
it's like half a post blaster, half an Ezra special. Both of those are really good. Um,
Hmm.
the 10 health kind of hurts, but I don't. I mean, he seems good to me.
Yeah, he's interesting to be sure. Um, I think if you think about him as having a focus, a 2 disrupt, a 1 disrupt, a 1 disrupt, and a discard for 15, I think you'd be like, that's garbage. What are you talking about? You're crazy. That will never be played. Um, but if you think about him as a guy that makes them have to save resources when they would like to, say, put out sabers, or spend it on removal on your other character that rolled out a 2, and they're like, oh geez, like if he activates that special, I'm dead. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it does get worse as the game goes on. Like as you need fewer resources, like
Yeah.
throughout the course of the game, it does get worse. That's for sure. Um, but like stealing a resource is pretty good with Ezra. I mean, Ezra is only 10 points or whatever, so
Yeah, that's a
that's
huge
part of
difference.
that's certainly part of it.
Yeah, Ezra can
um,
be a utility character, whereas here Hondo has to be a primary character.
right, right, which is fair for
Yeah.
sure. Um, Yeah, so I don't know. It's cool to see another neutral character that's like in a actual set as opposed to just the draft set.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they're exploring that design space.
I will say this. Hondo is so awesome, he clearly should be legendary. I don't mean based on his
Oh
abilities.
yeah,
I just mean based on who Hondo is.
I 100% agree. I was super surprised when I saw that he wasn't a legendary actually.
Um, I want to talk real quick about Runaway Boomas. This card is really weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's basically 6 damage sides every
Hmm.
turn for 3 and a buck every turn. That's a lot of damage sides, man.
That's a lot.
Like, I
That
know it has
is
3 blanks, but I don't
a
really
lot.
care about the blanks. Like, okay,
Hmm.
fine. I wasn't playing it for resources. I was playing it for damage.
Hmm. I kind of think it's good actually. Like
Yeah, I'm
two,
torn.
two, three, and then you get to roll it again. It seems so good.
Yeah, it does. I'm really torn on it. Because it's like, if you have it out for 3 turns and you get to use it 3 times, you paid basically 6 for this, which is the same cost as an ATST.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but I think it's
But
probably gonna be good.
if you actually hit a 2 or a 3 every time over the course of 3 turns, you dealt
Yeah,
how
a lot
much
of damage.
like 16 damage.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of damage. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's gonna be good. All right, I want to ask you about the card that I don't understand.
Okay.
The Cantina Brawl, 1 cost,
Yeah.
says deal 1 event to an opponent's character, then that opponent may discard a card from their hand to repeat this effect. Is this not the worst card ever made,
Uh,
or am I missing
yes.
something?
No, I don't think you're missing anything.
Okay.
Okay, so in the article, it says that both players have the option to keep discarding cards to keep dealing damage to each other, like over and over and over
Yeah.
again. Like it's not just a one-time thing.
Right.
But I don't see a scenario in which that would ever happen.
Right. The way I view
Like
this
I have
card,
no idea why you're putting this in your deck.
right, it's the worst 4 strike ever. It's pay 1 to do a damage. That's it. Unless you're
Yeah.
an idiot and you do it at a time where it hurts you more than your opponent, and so your opponent does it back to you, and then you keep doing it, and then you realize, what have I done? I've now lost the game because I'm stupid. I just can't envision a scenario in which it actually works unless you're playing against really, new opponents who don't know what's going on. And in that case, just beat them with cards that are actually good.
Yeah, I honestly like don't understand what this card is trying to do other than portray a theme.
Yeah, which is cool. Like it's the most hilarious card we've ever had, and I would love
Yeah.
to actually, for one time, just as a joke, play like a format
Just do
where
it over and over
everyone
again.
has to play 10 Cantina Brawls in their deck, and or maybe 30 Cantina Brawls. Like that's all you get. You get your character dice and 30 Cantina Brawls, And every turn you just brawl it out. But yeah, no, the card seems awful.
Yeah,
Good.
it's just bad, right? Like
Yes.
how
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Somebody correct me please if I'm wrong, but
Yeah, no,
this
I
is
don't
this
think
is
we're. I
horrible.
don't think we're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Last topic I want to talk about then. I want to segue to this. And by the way, if you want to submit any questions and you're watching the live stream, go ahead and put them in the chat now. We'll field them in a few moments. I didn't mention that before. We're live streaming today. I'm thinking about doing this every week. We'll have to see. But
Yeah.
there was a really important, just little tidbit at the end. It says, build your legacy and pre-order Star Wars Destiny Legacies from your local retailer or from our website here. Look for Destiny's or Legacy booster packs in the first quarter of 2018. What? What does that mean, Mike? Does that mean the December 15th discussion is wrong and that we should suddenly freak out and realize this is the meta for regional season for everyone pretty much? Or not everyone, but for most people, and that everyone should be grinding hard to find the best deck? What am I supposed to take away from this?
I who knows with FFG, like
Who knows?
this could be wrong. The other things could be wrong. Like nobody really knows. The fact that they haven't corrected this yet means that this is probably accurate, and it will probably be here in the first quarter of 2018, which I personally like am welcoming.
Yes. Yes, we have a
so-
great meta. Let's not mess with it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much like my thoughts about it. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't have to buy 3 booster boxes like this month on top of all the Christmas gifts that I need to buy for everybody.
I'm definitely all for less often. But what some people have proposed, and I want them to be wrong so badly, but it sounds so darn reasonable, is that FFG, it says legacy booster packs, and people propose like, will they like get in a minimal amount of starter decks to coincide with the new movie, and if they do, will they be legal in tournaments? And if they are, does it totally screw everything over as everyone is once again scrambling Awakening style for the starter deck and calling every store in their city and are all out, and they go on eBay and pay $72 for the starter deck for the sound your alarm or whatever ends up being the one card.
Yeah.
And that worries me, right? Like I don't want to go down that road again. I feel like we finally fixed that with Empire at War. FFG got it together and didn't do like the mini release and then be like, sorry. Let's just keep doing this. Let's just release it like a normal business would. And if they're gonna do the starter decks ahead of time, do not let them be legal. Make it a special notice, like this does not count as a release. This is a pre-release. They are not legal. Do something like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's possible that they release the starters early, especially if those went into production before the full set did. It's possible that those are like ready to go out before the booster boxes. I really hope that they don't do something like Spirit of Rebellion where they like do a pre-release weekend like a month before the game comes out, because that was just silly.
It sounded so good, I'm sure, to them. They're like, this is going to be genius. And then it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like they may need to make some improvements to their marketing department.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that at
but
the moment.
that might be another yeah, that might be another thing altogether.
Too exhausting. All right. So bottom line is we don't know when they're coming out, and we wish we did. So we've got a couple of questions from the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and read some out. Let's see. So We're Batman says, do you think Cantina Brawl was meant to be that if your opponent doesn't discard, you can still keep going? Makes a lot more sense. I think no, because then it's the best card in the game where you're just like,
that card's insane.
Get a giant hand and then just hit you direct damage for like 7. Cool.
Well, if the proposal is like deal one damage, and then if your opponent doesn't discard a card from their hand, you deal one more. Like you keep doing it. That seems really crazy because like eventually your opponent has to discard a card from their hand, right? And they're never going to like. I guess it's only if like you also have to discard a card from your hand when you get it back, like
Yeah, I
when
mean, I
the
would
effect
assume you
goes back
would,
to you.
but it still deals 5. If you just do your
Right.
whole hand that way, that's 5. You play cheat, you get it back next turn. That's 4 more. You've done 9 direct damage for very minimal dollars. I don't think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. It would
Huh.
certainly save the card from being the worst card ever.
Yeah.
All right,
Interesting.
Let's check the next question. So Double Blanks Gaming says, "How's the
Hey.
testing on Poe 2 decks going? What all have you tried?" Last week we talked about maybe trying Poe Kanan. To be perfectly honest, I got derailed and made an old Poe Kanan deck instead.
How did that go?
I haven't actually played it. It looks reasonably good until you start thinking about what made the Poe deck so powerful was actually Thermal Detonator.
Yeah.
And then you're like, so like 5 dice villain. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing a lot of what I wanted from yellow to make this happen. So I don't know.
That's fair.
How about you? Have you branched out with Poe 2 at all?
Yeah, I've been playing a bit of Poe 2 Kanan. I kind of have 2 different versions built. I have like a sort of more standard like version with like Shoto lightsabers, ancient lightsabers, like similar to Poe Rey, but like built to be a bit faster, with like hit and runs and all ins.
Does it
And then I have
retreat?
another. That one might. I don't think so though.
Yeah, I think
The
you can
other
play it.
one. Yeah, I probably should. I think Retreat's really good. But the other one is like a gun version. So I have like Overkill and like A280s and hold up blasters and stuff. With the idea that like with Kanan's focus, you can change like any of your dice to the base side to be able to pair with the Overkill. Which is good and maybe a little bit underrated. So it turns out the gun version wasn't as good as the the melee version,
They
but
just
I
killed
think that
Poe and then you lost.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And Shoto lightsaber is like
Bonkers.
too good not to not yeah. It's just like it's too good not to be building around right now. So I think that's probably the better way to go.
Yep, I can agree with that. I agree with everything you said. Right, it'd be really tempting to try the guns version for the reasons you stated. Amish Warrior says, if you had to go to regionals today, what would you play, and what would you be most scared to play against? If I was going today, I would either play 5 dice villain, Phasma, or R2P2 because everyone says it's good and assume it would actually work out right. And I think that I would end up not playing R2P2 for the reasons I just said. I'd probably play 5 dice villain because that's what I've had the most success with. But I think Phasma is real close. The only reason I wouldn't play Phasma is because I built one version of it and have not tweaked it at all. And I like to send decks through multiple rounds before I took it to a regional. How about you, Mike? Would you go wild card and try to surprise people, say your Vader Night Sister, or would you go with like Qui-Gon Kanan or something?
Yeah, I'd be really torn between one of those two things. Qui-Gon Kanan is the deck that I've played the most, and it's the deck that I've had the most success with. And I think it's in the top 2 or 3 best decks out there. I think I would be super tempted to like build something original and just like play something different. But that's just like the kind of player that I am and like what I enjoy doing. So I don't know. I think what would I be most afraid of playing against? Like even though it's not seen as like the best deck, probably Sabine Ezra, just because like you get into those situations where it just wins and you like literally can't do anything. So I think the scariest situations are where like your opponent can just god roll you, and you like literally have no outs. And it's not going to happen all the time, but like, what if it does? Is the
Yeah.
fear? So
Hmm.
yeah.
I was thinking about Elite Sabine Kanan with Battle of the Wills, because you could do
Oh.
like Battle of the Wills, roll in Sabine, force them to roll their guy and remove their dice. When you roll in, you put the ambush weapon on her. Then you
Mm-hmm.
still get to resolve. Like, you still get to do everything. It just costs you one and then pulls all their dice off.
That
Unless
that might not be bad.
you roll bad, and then you're
I can't
dead.
unless you roll poorly.
Then you're even more dead than you were before. Because you
But
gave
I
them an
mean,
action to let them roll in.
yeah,
Uh,
she does have pretty good dice to do that with though, with
she
her
does.
2-3-3.
They're fantastic.
So
Yeah.
eh.
Okay. We have a whole bunch more questions. Stealth Moose says, "What's the Legacies card you're most excited for?" I'm gonna say the card that I think is the best, and I seriously think it probably needs to be pre-nerfed, and that's Ayla Secura. If we nerfed
Oh, she's
Phasma,
so good.
I think
Yeah.
912 is too good to have 3 base damage sides. I think it's too good.
Hmm.
Unless it turns out indirect is just worthless, then she's fine. But if it's not, if it's good, if it almost counts as a regular damage side, that is far too good at 912.
Yeah. She's real good. Real
All
good.
right, so who are you most excited about? Then I'll say who I'm most excited about, and don't take mine. I'm putting it into your brain through subliminal messaging.
Ooh.
Dun, dun,
All
dun,
right.
dun.
Well, I'll pick this one
Wait.
that I
Let me say this.
okay.
Pick not my card, you will.
All
All right, go ahead. Pick whatever
that
you
was
want.
actually
Pick
super
whatever
good.
you want, Mike.
I'm really impressed by that. I'm really excited about Palpatine.
Okay,
Um,
me too.
I think he's real good, and I actually failed to mention this earlier when we were talking about what decks we were playing. But I built uh, 3 different Palpatine decks: one with blue, one with red, one with yellow.
Mm.
And so I played a few games with Palpatine Mother Talzin, and man, he is good. Being able to rise again for like 2 or 3, or being able to
Yes.
like roll in and then snare for like 1, or like it will all be mine. Like there's so many good cards that you can play for free or cheap with Palpatine. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, well, or not surprisingly, I'm not that surprised. Mother Talzin is super good. Like if you have Mother Talzin with a holocron, and then you can like get force upgrades. One of the games that I was playing, she had a force throw on her, and because you get to look at the top card of your deck and focus one of your dice when she activates every single
Yep.
round, like
Oh,
it just guarantee a force throw special every single round.
that's the worst feeling ever. Again, we're back to 2016. They
Yeah.
roll out ahead of you, and you go, "Please don't roll that for us." So, oh, the whole game's destroyed. You ruined it.
It's just good. Like she's
Yeah.
just so much consistency for what she is, and the fact that she's only 912 is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, even let's just say you roll out Mother Talzin as is. You've built an odds deck. Every single turn, you get to turn to the 2 damage.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's
So
pretty dang good.
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like you put her with Vader even, and then like every round you're turning a Vader die to a 3. So
She's
it's
good.
it's good.
Palpatine is one of those things that, boy, that feels like it should have been capped at 2, because that's absurd.
Yeah, it really is.
If you can every turn get an event reduced by 3, that's insane. Like that.
Yeah.
That just feels too much to me. I feel like that should have been capped at 2. But yeah, he's real good. But for me, my favorite is Yoda. I love this Yoda. I worry that this Yoda is too good. I hope he's not. But basically having 2 sides that give you a resource and something awesome
Hmm.
is insane, right? Like I will get a resource and focus my die to another special and resolve it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. Like that just feels like one of the strongest cards in the game, and then he's 10-13, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, and
So
he has
good.
that
Like,
beloved 2 focus side, which is just, I mean, he's just insane at 10-13. I can't believe he feels like if he was 10-13 and you took off the discard side and made it the special, or just took the discard side off and made it a blank, maybe he's okay. Maybe. But I still think he's probably too good. But no blanks, like, he is just so good.
Yeah, I do think that he's really good. I love how thematic it is that he doesn't have any blanks. I think that is like a win in the design category. But yeah, it will remain to be seen whether or not he'll be too good.
Yeah, even a 1-die Yoda at 10 health, one amazing die might be enough because that die is so consistently a focus die. It has 3 focus sides. It's
got three focus sides, 3 shield sides, 2 resource sides, 3 mill sides. Like,
there's a lot of sides on this die.
Yeah, there are a lot of sides. I mean, it really is like one of the first character dice with effectively more than 6 sides on it. Like,
it's really interesting to think about a pairing with him and Saw, and being able to just make, like, you just do crazy things. Like, he's gonna make you so much money. Maybe you just run Falcons to play them or discard with Saw, whichever happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And then you get 1 point left over for that terrible one cost plot.
I'm sure there'll be other plots. I'm sure there will, but they'll probably be bad at one.
Yeah.
All right, so Johnny Berg says, what decks do you think stand a strong chance against the R2-P2 and Qui-Gon Kanan shield decks? Do you think Jabba Unkar Crime Lord and Mill is in a good spot to beat those slow shield up decks?
I say yes. And the reason why I say yes, especially for against R2-P2, is that they have like pretty much no way to disrupt.
Sure.
So you can just sit there and just stockpile resources like the entire game. And they don't usually burst you down too hard, like turn 1, and like usually turn 2 is like a little bit bursty, but like turn 3 is really with like the power spike, like 2-3-ish. So I think you have you have time against that deck where you wouldn't against like a Sabine Ezra or like Palpatine or something like that. Although against Palpatine you have other considerations where if you do Crime Lord Palpatine, you just win.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
But I think it's I don't know. I've been thinking about this a little bit. I think that an AE mill deck or a like Crime Lord deck is in a decent spot against specifically those decks.
Yeah. The first problem, of course, is new Kylo. Like, he's a big problem for those decks. The second thing is especially something like a Qui-Gon Kanan deck that's just gonna do like the super slow ping you with 1 shield every turn. It won't be too bad. But like, you know, if they're smart, right, and they immediately realize what you're doing, which they should, and just put all their money into weapons, that's a weapon every single turn that adds up really fast. I feel like you need to get a Crime Lord out quick and get it off on the guy with a weapon that's not Rey's lightsaber, and it has to happen fast. Like, I just, because especially with Riposte, like, that's 2 Riposte there's 6. All that damage, Ancient Lightsabers +3, like, I don't know. I had a lot of success with Thrawn-Kar against Qui-Gon Kanan, like, to the point where it just felt hilarious. That deck made money so much faster. It was absurd. So I don't know. It'd be interesting, but I do think it's dangerous because of new Kylo. I'm not sure that makes it viable.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, you don't necessarily have to run like Jabba Unkar or like a mono yellow mill deck. So I have something that I've been like toying with. Trying to get back to my villain mill roots, my 3-character villain mill roots. So I don't know if it'll work or not, but I will report back and we'll see.
I feel like the key is Crime Lord. I don't think mill is fast enough to beat those decks. But if you can Crime Lord one of the characters, even you don't have to hit them both, just hit one, then I think you're all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we have time for any other questions. There's only one more question, so we'll answer it. Amish Warrior again asks, what other organized play elements would you add to this game from other games or original ideas? And that's a really hard one. As a really competitive player, having some sort of pro scene would be amazing, but that's a huge undertaking, right? Like, everyone's just like, just have a pro scene like Magic. They do it. It's like, yeah, well, they're like the only game that's able to really pull this off all that effectively for a reason, right? FFG, people forget FFG makes hundreds of games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any great ideas at this particular moment, but I would love to see it expanded. I think the Galactic Qualifiers were a great idea. Being able to have more stuff like that feels impactful, gives real rare prizes. Like, that's really the key to me, is to be able to host events with rare prizes that entice people to travel to them, knowing that they will not have just shelled out $1,000 for nothing. And that kind of makes its own pro circuit. And if that happens, people can piggyback off of that and make independent circuits, kind of like the X-Wars guy was trying to pull off, especially if they support those groups. Like, if someone tried to do something like that and they were like, okay, here's this amazing see-through Palpatine that you give out as a prize, it'd be like, oh my goodness, sure, I'll go try to win that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's like sort of happening with the Galactic Qualifiers.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's Cascade running the show there.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So it is an actual independent agency that's running these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good. We're
Yeah.
on the right track then.
Yeah, for sure. I on the other side of the spectrum, I think that draft and sealed is going to help this a lot, but I would like to see more events to bring in new people and people who aren't the most hardcore and just want to play a few times a month. Because I think that at least in our scene, it's like the 5 or 6 people who are like really hardcore into the game like show up. And then every once in a while, there's like some new people that come and play. And I would love to see more new faces and play against more weird new decks, and just like try new weird things, even if it's not like the most cutthroat competitive. Because for me, like I like that stuff sometimes, but that's not like the reason why I play games. I know that it is why some people play games, but for me, like I just want to like play with cool people. So anything that gets more cool people into the game, I'm interested.
Makes sense to me. I really hope draft helps. Like, I feel like we had such a vibrant scene, and then it's really just went away. And it's one of the things with FFG games, you have to work really, really hard to keep them going, because FFG will make colossal blunders, and then it's on you as a community to find a way to work through those periods. Like, Spirit of Rebellion was basically a 3-month or 4-month colossal blunder, and almost all of the players left. And I feel like I was one of the reasons why they left, right? Like, during this horrible period, I end up having to abandon the group because of other commitments. And it's like, well, if the people who are driving the group have to leave and FFG makes blunders, then it all falls apart. And it's really hard to keep it going through that, and we need a way to do it. And hopefully draft will be that way, that the meta is not always going to be like it is now, and when it gets bad again, to have a way to tell people, don't worry, we've got this other thing we can do. Hopefully that will help a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have to wrap it up. We've been going for pretty much forever, an hour and 15. This has been a long show. This is what happens when we go live, Mike. Things get crazy. So thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. Stay tuned next week for episode 50, which probably will not be cool at all. I probably won't be able to get all these people together that I claimed I was going to do. I've contacted like 2 of the 100 so far. Mike, next week you'll be on, right, for 10 minutes? Can I get you?
I'm down.
Okay. All right, so we'll see you next time. And Mike, where can people find you on the internet? Give a plug at least for the awesome Jedi trials. What do you got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to the Jedi Trials if you haven't. We didn't have a new episode this week, but we will next week. So check that out pretty much anywhere podcasts exist.
Whoa.
I will give you a sort of like off topic, on topic tip, which is if you don't have a podcast app on your phone, the two that I would recommend is on iOS, download Overcast. That one's like by far the best.
Hmm.
And then if you have Android, I really enjoyed Pocket Casts when I had one of those. So worth checking out to aggregate all of your podcast
That's
feeds.
interesting because I just use the regular one on my iPhone. Are you claiming that it's
Ah,
not good?
no, yes, I am claiming that it's not good.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Now I feel like I have to
Now
take
you
your
know.
advice. Wow. Okay. Well, you can find me on YouTube, on Twitch, Tiny Grimes. Just check it out. I'm gonna try to do this every week. Stream live. Maybe get in another stream. I almost streamed earlier today on my day off, but it just didn't quite work out. And Patreon, Tiny Grimes. Come support us there. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next time on the Smugglers Den. Until next time, keep smuggling. Keep smuggling.